Ignorance and toxicity is a living disease within the black culture today. I'm not talking about African Americans. I'm not talking about foreign black people. I'm talking about black people in groups in America. Majority of them glorifies having a hood ghetto mindset. And a lot of the times, even the ones that calls themselves Pan-Africans, they are proud to say that their ancestors are from Africa. They show it with pride. They walk it with pride, while also glorifying rap culture today, where part of that is with gang violence, gang rapes, murder, rivalries, all this bunch of stupidness. They continue to hype it up. And the media continues to glorify it too, because you have rappers like Summer Walker, who else? Kanye West. This is just a whole bunch of them. Pop Smoke. I don't know the names for all the other rappers today. Like NBA YoungBoy. There's a whole bunch of them. There's a whole bunch. And a lot of black people doesn't realize that the media is programming the black youth in every generation to tell them that no, you're not good enough to be a doctor. You're not good enough to be a lawyer. If you're black and you have the thought of being a doctor or a lawyer, then you have to automatically be with a white person or a person who is of a different race. Asian, Hispanic. You have to be with a different race. You're a sellout. They try to make you feel bad just for wanting to do better. Black people, such as black men, are only good for being a criminal, shooting, stealing, robbing people, being in a gang, having tattoos, having a do-rag, sagging his pants, smoking weed, doing drugs, being a drug dealer. Or if you want a career, the only thing you're good for is being a basketball player or being a rapper, being a music engineer. What are the other black stereotypes that social media encourages young black men to come up to be? What is it? There was a case years ago where I was working for an eye doctor when I was in Brooklyn, New York. This was an eye clinic that was in East New York. I was there for about 5 to 6 years. There was a case where there was a patient, right? When you're in the medical field, you call individuals or people patients. Just like with customer service, the customer is always right. Then there's a term called the patient's always right. So we had a patient that came into the clinic. I was one of the eye technicians at the time. My job was to take care of the patient, make sure I verified their insurance, and bring them to the back to do a fundus scan or a photo scan. Basically, run a couple of tests on their eyes. There was a black man. He was in his late 60s, 50s. He was between the age 50 to 60 years old. He dressed up and down like a stereotypical hood dude. Straight up. Pants sagging, large shirt, large pants, draw showing, right? He was very respectable. And he had brought up something when he first seen me. He was like, man, he was just like shocked. He was like looking at me. He said, he said that looking at me, he wished that he went back to finish high school and get himself together. Because him being black, he was ashamed that the only thing he most of the time did with his life was gangbang, just fool around, and waste his youth and waste his time. That's pretty much what he did for his whole entire life. He straight up admitted to me that he was a high school dropout, never acquired his GED. He was not happy. Seeing a black young male professional on the come up, trying to just make his money, working in the medical field, working a decent job, making a decent buck, it made him think about his youth, what he could have done with his time, what he could have done, what he could have become. He could have became somebody, make something worth out of his life. Because a lot of black men are encouraged to live as Pookies and Ray Rays, or be a rapper, music engineer, music producer, or a basketball player. That's the stereotype that they push on young black men. That's the stereotype. That's all you're good for. That's all you're good for. No, you're better than that. If your preference is to want to look into sports or different sports outside of basketball and do other sports, right? Hey, that's on you. But don't live up to a stereotype just to prove your blackness. Who are you living for? Are you living for the pride of being black? Because let me question this. Isn't that the same thing as being a white supremacist? What about black supremacy? See, the funny thing is that so many black men, there's a bunch out there that would blame the white man or white people for holding them back, but you're the only one that holds yourself back. You're your worst enemy. Same for black women. Black women are sold a stereotype from these ratchet, hood, ghetto female rappers today. Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, Summer Walker, Doja Cat, even though she's not predominantly black. And there's a couple of more. There's a couple more. They're sold the stereotype to be with the Pookie and Ray Ray because the media is also teaching them that this is what it means to be a man. A dude with a criminal record who has cops on him. It's exciting. Nicki Minaj is the perfect example of the epiphany of black women who has set themselves so low for a man who's a bum and who's a dude who has nothing to live for but to be a criminal, a crook, a no good, Tyrone stereotype, typical Pookie and Ray Ray. He's the epiphany and the bottom of black men. I love black people. I love white people. I love Asian. I love everyone. You know why? Because God didn't make race. God did not make race. Yes, he did. But to God, we're all his children. But the world, everyone doesn't see eye to eye. people sees hate. They see your race, your skin complexion, and in a lot of cases, there's cases out there where people will determine where you fit in society. No, you determine where you fit in. If a person doesn't like you or accept you for how you look, just because of your skin complexion, that's a different case. But if the person is judging you based off your character and how the way you dress and present yourself, you cannot call out racism because it makes you look stupid. That's like me getting offended by a cop where I'm hanging out at the wrong place at the wrong time. I'm wearing a do-rag. My pants are sagging. I have grills in my teeth. It looks like I got a Glock or a gun on me, however the street terms want to call it. And I get offended when a police officer pulls up and wants to ask for identification. He has every right to ask. You look like a stereotype. Even if the man was Hispanic, white, Asian, you have multiple tattoos, you look like a thug, a criminal, a dude that's up to no good, doing drugs, right? You're going to be judged. You look apart. You have the look. You need to set yourself apart. And a lot of black men especially needs to notice. The man is the one that's the head. So, because the media is using that to their advantage, they want to make sure that black men are only seen as one thing. So whenever anybody from all over the world thinks of a black man, they think the only thing they're going to think of is a rapper, basketball player, drug dealer, gang member. That's the very first thing that they keep continuing to first think of, because it's a stereotype that has been implanted in us in every movie, every media outlet that you see today. It's in our fashion. It's in the music videos. It's in movies. It's in TV shows. Back then, black men was never like this. If you see how a lot of black men and black women presented themselves and dressed back then versus now, it's a big change. 2023 black people is a whole nother breed compared to the 1950, 1940s, 1900s black people. The 1900 black people is different from the black people in 2023. The black people back then in the 50s and 60s, the 70s, the 40s, the 30s, they had more class. They had more respect for themselves. You didn't hear about the hood dude, rap boy stereotype, the basketball player, the drug dealer. You didn't hear about none of that. Ever since drugs was introduced into the black community, ever since the projects and the ghettos was introduced to the black community, it's because it was about control and divide, division. Of course, you can't blame all white people for this. There's black people who are also part of the problem too. But everyone is not part of the problem. You become part of the problem when you put yourself in the problem and you grow up representing and imitating the stereotype. Same for the sisters, same for the black women. Why do you think there's cops out there and other people from different races, when they see a black woman by herself with kids, they automatically think, oh, she's a baby mom? But if they see a white woman with her kids and she's by herself, oh, her husband's probably working. Her husband is probably a cop or a doctor, lawyer. When you see a white man, that's the first thing many people thinks of white men. To be cops, to be lawyers, CEOs. Why? Because majority of the time, this is what the media portrays, and they glorify it, and they continue to produce it. And with black people, most TV shows, most movies, we're not portrayed in that light. We're portrayed as slaves. We're taught, especially black women, are taught that You're no good. You have to wear wigs. You have to wear makeup. You have to powder and cake yourself up. Breast implants, butt implants. You're not good enough. You're not beautiful enough. You have to make yourself look like Becky, Stacy, Maria. It goes deep. This is what brought the ignorance and the drama in black people and in black groups today. We're divided as a group. People would classify me as the Clark Kent, the nerd, the lame. I'm basically like the sellout of the black community, quote unquote, even though my wife is black. I had many cases where people would say ignorant comments like, "Oh, Daniel, is your wife white? Why you talk so proper? Are you sure you're from Brooklyn? Are you sure you're from the hood?" Normally people from the hood act tough, right? What are you trying to say? What do you mean? That's all that we are? That's the whole culture of black men, black women? That's offensive. If that's all that we are, then we're not going to get anywhere. Nobody is. Nobody wins. We need more diversity in different careers. It's nice to see more black lawyers, black doctors, black CEOs, black nurses. But guess what? There's not many because the media put in our heads, and even black people, the crabs in the barrel, puts in our heads that you are no better than the white man, that it's not going to work. Yes, it can. It starts off with you. It starts off with the individual. It starts off with the mindset. All white people are not bad. All black people aren't bad. And it shouldn't be about race. It's about all people. We're all as one. We're going to die the same. We bleed the same. And we're going to live the same. We all have health problems. The only difference is that we have a different skin. We have different hair textures. We all came from different backgrounds. There's black people, Africans from Morocco, Africans, black people from Panama, from Dominican Republic, from France, from Haiti, from Portuguese. Like we're all over the world. Same for Asians. Same for Hispanics. Same for white people. Every culture, every ethnic group has its pros and cons and its problems. Nobody should be focusing on all this. But what I see in the media all the time, and what I hear all the time, and what I live to see all the time is black people still focusing on the victim mentality. Like, oh, what was we? The white man is holding me back. Nah, you're holding yourself back. Nobody's holding you back but you. You are your greatest enemy. The devil is like a warring lion seeking who he can devour, and he's definitely making sure black people are put down. Because once you believe that you're all a good for nothing and you're a failure, you're letting the devil and the part of the world and the evil of the world control your mindset. When you could control and have the choice on where you go in life, you can't look at anybody but yourself. You can't look at the white man holding me back but you. It's not about race. Black people, too many times, I hear it's annoying and it sickens me that there was even a video that I watched one time on YouTube where a whole bunch of black college students were talking about racism, Black Lives Matter, all this stupidness, trying to make a excuse to say that we're victims. To some degree, we could be a victim depending on the case, but that doesn't mean that we're all in the same boat. Don't categorize me and put me in the same boat as you, because I'm sorry, I don't have the ignorant victim mentality mindset. I know I could do better. I believe I could do better. And that's why I stay away from negative black people, because they're the same ones that has the crab and the barrel mentality that will put you down with their ignorant comments, ignorant thoughts, tell you that you're nothing but a black man, or you're nothing but a black woman. Live to the stereotype. Glorify it. Be proud of it. It's toxic. It is toxic. If it's nothing positive and it's all negative, there's nothing proud about about living up to a negative stereotype. It's not good at all. It's not good for the children. It's not good for the generation coming behind us. It's not good for nobody. Nobody wins. That's why I applaud the black sheeps, the black people who just wants to get themselves together and stay out of the drama. So what if you want to move around a wealthy white neighborhood? You want a peace of mind? Move around that, because it's not to be funny. Most cases, from my experience, I've never had trouble whenever it came down to white neighborhoods, but it was only the ones that were around like-minded, wealthy, middle-class people. Even if you're black, if you have your own money, you're middle class, and you have the right mindset, I would feel comfortable being around you too. If you made me feel comfortable, you made me feel welcome. Anywhere I go, if anyone would make me feel unwelcomed, of course I'm not going to feel welcome. Of course I'm not going to be comfortable. Race does not matter in the end of the day. It's a person's character that counts. Like I said from one of my last videos involving with black people and the issues that we are going through today, especially with us not going nowhere, the stereotypes says a lot, especially when people glorifies it and lives up to that. You best be assured I'm going to stay away from them, because it's like there's no hope for people like that until it's too late and they know it's too late for them. I'm praying for the best of you out there. If there's a few black individuals that comes across this video and sees this, hey, I'm praying that God is with you. Just because everyone is falling, that doesn't mean you follow for everyone and live by a stereotype. They only want to make you fail. If people that loves you and that cares about you, they would want the best for you. They would want the best for you. I left the hood a long time ago because I wanted better. When I seen all the drama, people getting shot and killed, jumped, smoking weed, people hanging out, playing dice in the projects, living in a project building. You think I want my kids to grow up seeing that and being around that? You think I wanted my son to be a stereotype? To be another hoodlum? You think I want my daughter to be another Keisha? A baby mama? Have my son live as a baby daddy? Be a gangbanger? Same for women? Same for my daughter? No. I want better. It's called respect, having class, having decency for yourself, and being humble. It's all about the mindset first. God didn't place us here to waste our breath and waste our lives. God placed us here for his glory, to spread his salt and do right in the world, and for others too that's around our circle. I keep away from the negative people, and it's all about positivity and just doing right and living by the book, living by the word. That's all I got to say, guys. This is Casual Talk here. Peace out. Let me know what you think.